Do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? Right? Like courage. Do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? And so anytime you got to be courageous, let's look at it from the standpoint of dreams, goals, and aspirations. You got your dream, your goal, and your aspiration, and then you got reality. And oftentimes reality doesn't reflect the goal, the dream, and the aspiration. And so when you think courage, like being courageous and following your heart because it somehow knows what you want to do, it's almost like when you feel something that you should do, and for some strange reason, like your mind or your spirit tells you, nah, I don't want to do it because it takes you outside of your comfort zone, but you know you should do it, you could feel it, and then you go against it.
If you just do what you want right now all the time, one of the problems with that is you're going to get yourself in trouble. People are self-conscious and can see the future. We have to bind our actions in the present in relationship to our future selves. You have to act now so you don't hurt you tomorrow and you next week and you next month and you in a year and 5 years and 10 years. And that's actually a community of potential selves that extends across time. You sacrifice the whims of the moment, so that's delayed gratification and maybe a definition of maturity. You sacrifice that because it's a better medium to long-term contract or covenant with yourself.
Fight through the pain and come out the other side stronger and tougher and better and free from that storm, free from the darkness.
Because in the absence of purpose, fulfillment, significance, we kind of feel like every day is Groundhog Day. Every day is a day where I'm not really moving forward. I don't have a sense of purpose. There's this like low undertone of anxiety and depression and overwhelm. And you just feel like you don't really matter. And that is not the best way to live as a human, man. I'm telling you that right now. Like, we are put on this planet. You are put on this planet to do something big, to do something great, to impact lives, to be an agent of change. How does a man win at life over and over again when another man continues to struggle and just has these failures to launch? Well, it's simple. It's the athlete mindset versus the spectator mindset.
The plan gonna happen. We can delay it, right? When we don't want to be courageous, when we don't want to encounter that level of faith that we know we need along our journey for our goals, dreams, and aspirations. You can delay it, but courage, that's a different ball game. That's pressing forward in the face of opposition, adversity, uncertainty. Different ball game, but the question remains, do you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? That's the essence of courage to me.
At some time or another, have agonized over making a decision. Some decisions are major decisions. And also there are a lot of small decisions that we don't make, that they tax our minds, they drain our energy. They create a lot of anxiety and nervousness and mental torment because we don't take care of it. We decide not to decide, which is a decision. Deciding to decide, to act, is a major, major challenge for all of us. And there are things that happen to us along the way, experiences that we have that prevent us from working through the mental block of acting, of doing those things that we know we ought to do.
If you don't have what you want, stop telling yourself the story because you don't have the money, you don't have the time. That's bullshit. It's because you haven't committed yourself where you would burn your boats. If you want to take the fucking island, burn your fucking boats, and you will take the island because people, when they're going to either die or succeed, tend to succeed.
Most people wonder why they don't get the opportunity. Coach, why won't you put me in the game? Why won't you give me an opportunity? The reason why is because the word give. No one is going to give it to you. Whatever it is you want in life, you have to desire it more than you want anything. You got to believe that it's your birthright. You got to be hungry. You got to look at everyone as competition and welcome and embrace the fact that you must fight for it. If it's given to you, you will think of it as some kind of entitlement. But if you battle for it, it's a victory. It's earned. You've got to decide in this life whether you want to be entitled or you want to earn it. If it's entitlement you're looking for, you'll never be remembered in history. You'll be the person that could have been, should have been, and could have been if somebody had given you. But you don't have a right to be given anything. Earn it, take it, take control of your life, take dominion.
I don't care how good you are in anything, you don't have discipline, you ain't nobody.
The reason most people fail is because they give up what they want most for what they want now.
Because when you think about true courage, I look at it as a person being who they authentically were made to be in every avenue and every aspect of their life. When they walk out of the door in the morning, they are who they're supposed to be. It takes courage to be that.
I'm not saying that there aren't things in life that we just have to do. There are. But what I am saying is ask questions. And don't believe everything that you're told. And don't follow the path just because it's there. Don't get in line just because other people are.
At some point, you're going to have the courage. At some point, you're going to have the confidence. And it's total bullshit. And so there are so many people in the world, and you know, you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. Because the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things because our brains are trying to keep us alive. And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary.
Decision-making is the force that shapes destiny. How many of you can think of the decisions that you made years ago, 1 or 2 decisions, 5, 10, 15 years ago? That decision, you may not have realized it at the time, but that decision was one of the most important decisions of your life. If you made a different decision there, you've gone a different direction, your life would be completely different today.
Because people who make things happen, people who are legendary like yourself, people who take it to the next level, people, as I like to say, are rare breeds that are rare. They don't depend on motivation to move because they know they will never move if they depend on motivation. They will never create if they're dependent on motivation. They will never change if they're dependent on motivation. What they do, they move to create their motivation. Most people move once they're motivated. For rare breed people, they create their movement to create the motivation.
So I'm here to tell you that it will take longer. It will be more difficult. It will require more effort on your part. But you know what I can tell you about that? When you do the hard things, you will have a happy and easy life. But if you constantly choose to take the path of easy and negotiate and compromise, you will have a hard life that ends with regret.
You see, everyone has to go through something, but it's the something you go through that also must go through you. When it does, you'll come out of this thing pure gold. And the only way you can get pure gold is to go through the fire. Stop asking God why and embrace it and say, what's next?